Multiplication property of exponents. I am so excited for this lesson because we are officially over the hump of the right triangle trigonometry assignment. Almost a 25-minute video. I did my absolute best. Made a mistake that we learned from, turning radians into degrees. We now know about this all-important wrench button over here on the right of Desmos and what that means. And we got through all 6 problems after we swapped it over from radians to degrees. Did not make any mistakes after that. So hopefully that made sense. We're all going to move on now to multiplication property of exponents, a much simpler assignment. And you are also going to notice that it says preview quiz now. So unlike the trigonometry one, I know it's not going to take me 116 days to finish an assignment. Oh my gosh. Okay, so right off the bat, this is a perfect test-taking strategy problem. So if you're out there and you're one of my students, great. Hey, Teacher Dylan. If you're not, well, then this is one of those times where you can find an applicable strategy for just any sort of test. And here it is. If you are given letters, like I have here, B10, B2, I cannot enter letters in my calculator, but I can enter numbers, make it look incredibly similar to this, and then from that sort of guess and check my way to figuring out the formula of this problem. Because maybe you don't know what b10 times b to the second is. So instead, I'm going to choose a really simple number like 3. And I'm going to say 3 to the 10th. How do you do to the 10th power? That's down here on this a to the b button. All right? Click that. It brings you up to the exponent, and you can type whatever number you want in. I'm going to type 10. And then I'm going to leave the same 3, just like the same letter B. So still 3, and now squared. And I'm going to see, does that equal, let me think about the ways I can combine 10 and 2. Well, I could add them first. So that would be 3 to the 12th. Or I could multiply them and do 3 to the 20th. And what you see is, oh hey, it ends up being the same as 3 to the 12th. So that means that instead of 3, I've got a rhyming b to the 12th. So for you, type what letter you have. Notice it comes up in beautiful blue font, B for beautiful, though you might have a different letter and you might have a different number. Use the ones on your screen because you just add these little exponents together. And that, in general, is the big strategy with multiplying exponents. You add the little numbers and you keep the base, also B for base, B for beautiful base, keep that the same. All right, let's do number 2. So now I have numbers, 5 to the 5th times 5 to the 2nd. So let's use our little trick, and we know that it's going to stay a 5, and just add our little numbers. 5 plus 2 is 7. So I'm going to type in, as you can do, just 5 to the 7th. 78,125, and I'm going to put that whole answer in. Now, just to prove to you that this is right, I'm going to write it out. 5 to the 5th times 5 to the 2nd. And look, they both give you 78,125, but no use in doing all those extra clicks. The whole point is to figure out the shortcut and utilize it. Same thing with number 3. Now our base has parentheses. Anytime you see parentheses, make sure you copy them down. If you don't, you could definitely miss the problem. And then we need to add our numbers together in our exponent. 2 and 3. 2 plus 3 is 5. Negative 7776 reminds me of 1776, the important American date. Celebrated that bicentennial years ago. Boom. Easy peasy with our Desmos calculator. Man. Okay, here's a new one. What happens when we raise an exponent to an exponent? Well, let me show you. Do you already know out there? We know that if you multiply 2 bases together, you add the exponents. We've done that. So the question is, what happens when you have them above each other? Is it still the same thing as adding them? Let's see. Actually, I'm going to type it in just how I see it. So 2 left parentheses, then to the 3rd, then a right parenthesis, and then to the 4th. Whoa, nope. Well, what else can we do with a 3 and 4? I guess we could multiply them. 3 times 4 is 12. Hey, yep. Did you know that already out there? So if you have a situation like number 5, it's 2 to the, and we add all these powers together. But if it is not that situation, and we have instead powers raised to powers like this, you just multiply the two little numbers together. And whatever number you get, 531, 441, we've got. The next one I can already tell is going to be interesting with this Desmos calculator. I once again have 2 as my base. And then I have my exponents that I'm adding together. -2 plus 4 plus 0. I can do that in my head, but I'll show you a long way down here. -2 plus 4 plus 0 is 2. So this is 2 to the second power. Don't even need to type that on my calculator. I know that answer is 4. However, I know this assignment well from many years of doing this, and I know that some of you now have a much more complicated problem than that. Let's see if I can redo until I get one that might be what you have on your screen. No, that one's too easy. It's just going to be 3. Okay, let's keep going until I see one that has a negative exponent. There we go, like this one. Okay. This is going to test the laws of our remote learning. Okay, so if I add my exponents together now, -8 plus 2 plus 0, I get -6, which means I need to do 2 to the -6th power. And there it is. It gives you the decimal. Now you'll notice what I said, remember, in all caps, in all bold. Enter answers not as decimals, but as fractions or integers. So I need to turn this decimal into a fraction. It's a very kind of small, ugly looking decimal. Here's what negative exponents mean. I'm going to do a little mini lesson here. If I have a negative exponent, I have to get rid of it because it also says write all answers with positive exponents. Here's what I do. I need to flip my problem and make a fraction where I get rid of this negative exponent by, instead of having it be on the top, I move it to the bottom. So it becomes 2 to the +6th power. And if I do not have any number to put on top, well, any number could be over 1. So when I flip this, the 1 goes on top. So this becomes 1 over 2 to the 6th. And this is going to come in handy next assignment on division, property of exponents especially. But when you have a negative exponent, flip it, put it on the bottom. And so now, because I know that 2 to the -6th is this decimal, I'm going to type in 2 to the +6. 2 to the +6. And this is going to be the case if you have a negative number. And then here's what I do. I put that 1 on top. I put the little slash next to the right shift key. And then whatever I got for 2 to the +6th, in this case 64, I put on bottom. If you don't believe me that that's equivalent, sure enough, 1 divided by 64. You get that same decimal that you got for 2 to the -6th. Okay. Hopefully that made sense. If you didn't have to worry about it, congrats, you didn't have a negative exponent. If you need to rewind it, rewind it. Either way, we'll all cover this on number 7. Okay, any number to the 0 power. This is another fun mini lesson. Anybody often can make the mistake thinking that any number to the 0 power is 0, but that's not true. And I'm going to show you now by drawing you a little chart. All right, we're going to have one row for 1s. We're going to have a second row for 2s, 3s. And then we're going to say to the -2 power, -1 power, 0 power, 1, and 2. All right. Well, 1 to any power is going to be 1. That's pretty easy. 2. Let's start easy. 2 to the first power, 2. 2 to the second power, 4. I'm going to skip the 0 power for the explanation. We just learned what 2 to the negative first power would be. 2 to the negative first is 1 over 2 to the positive first, which is 1 half. 2 to the negative 2, 2 to the negative 2 is going to be 1 over 4. So for 3, we've got 3 to the first power is 3. 3 squared is 9. And then this is going to be 1 over 3 and 1 over 9. Notice the denominator matches this. Here and here, the negative 2 will match the positive 2 just on bottom. So as I move from left to right, I am multiplying by the base. So this is 1s, so 1 times 1, all the way across, pretty boring. But 2s, 1/4 times 2 is a half. 2 times 2 is 4. Same thing with 3s. 3 times 3 is 9. Same thing going backwards. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 1 half divided by 2 is 1/4. So the only number that I can put in every one of these middle column, no matter what number, 1, 2s, 3s, all the way up, infinite amount, it has to be what's, if I keep multiplying by 2s, double 1 half and also half of 2, it's a 1. What number's 3 times a third and also 3 divided by 3? It's also a 1. So every single time, regardless of what number I have as my base, if I raise it to the 0 power, I don't get 0, I don't get the base itself, I get 1. So commit that to memory. There's a little explanation why. It's the only thing that makes the pattern work for all numbers, and with math, if nothing else, it is a beautiful set of patterns. 1 is any number to the 0 power, yesterday, today, and forever, always 1. So for number 6, I guarantee your answer is 1. There's a free answer and an explanation why. Finally, number 7. You should all see, even if you escaped number 5, luckily without having a negative power here. We're going to do exactly what I just did with my negative power explanations. Make a fraction with a 1 on top, and then plug in your Desmos calculator your problem without the negative power. So I've got 8 squared, 64 again. Whatever you get without the negative power, put that answer on bottom. And mine just happened to be 1 over 64 both times. But that's it. Oh, we had some good lessons here. 13 minutes of quality work, which included several mini lessons and test-taking strategies. This did not take us 116 days or whatever that trig one took. It took a little less than 12 minutes. This video will be a little bit over 13 minutes. Much love to you all. I hope you conquered this assignment with ease. And again, if you did the trigonometry one already, congrats to you. You deserve all the gold stars. Much love and best wishes on your day, your week, your month, and your whole life from your teacher, Dylan.